No commercials either.
Oh, here we go.
All right, let's see what she got to say.
Welcome back. We are following breaking news. A verdict in the landmark case addressing the power and influence of social media. A Los Angeles jury today finding Meta and YouTube negligent in the design or operation of their platforms and saying the companies failed to warn users of the dangers of their services. The jurors found that the tech giant's platforms harmed a young user with features that made her addicted and led to mental health problems. The trial, which included testimony from Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg, was the first lawsuit of its kind to go to trial. In separate statements, Meta and Google, YouTube's parent company, saying they disagree with today's verdict and plan to appeal. Today's verdict comes just one day after a jury in Mexico ordered Meta to pay $375 million dollars after determining that Meta concealed what it knew
I'm
about
addicted
child
to.
sexual exploitation on its platforms. Meta says it plans to appeal that verdict as well.
I'm addicted to.
Joining me now is Jacob Ward.
I'll just stop it right there, though. So yeah, just talked about it. People live their life on social media. Like that's that's crazy. So you had to download this application. It didn't come native on your phone on your device, right? You download it. I think the young lady was 20, somewhere around there. I don't know if when it happened was she 20, but we could look it up. Uh, but she downloads the application, creates a login. Her parents let her use it, and then uh, once she logs in, uh, she's able to use this particular software, right? And create an account, um, and pretty much just do it anything she wants to do. And now uh, they have to put up a disclaimer for you to do that. I don't know. It just sounds. I don't know. Maybe I'll let you go first. So I have to think about that. So it just sounds crazy that um,
And I
people can't take responsibility for their actions.
want to get part of it.
It's like somebody is at fault. And guess what? I mean, I'm not really mad at her. I mean,
We're not talking to
can't really be mad at her. But it's like, whose fault? Who takes the blame? Where was your parents at?
show side.
When if you were a minor, where are your parents? Are kind of like you said, you have your kids on lockdown, like they can't use it until they get a certain age. It being social media.
Sure.
And so where was her parents at when she was using this application and supposedly got addicted to it and has like mental issues? It just doesn't. It's a simulation, like I said. Like
Sure.
it's it's wild to say, but I'll let you share because
All right. So,
I'll hop back in after you're done.
yeah, man. I just say, these are the same parents that, you know, their teenagers are out here, with this vape, all these little fruity cotton candy type flavors. It's not even about accountability. It's about, oh, I thought it was harmless. Nobody told me this, nobody told me that. We didn't know it was going to be addictive. Well, anything that you do every day, all day, can become addictive. You know, I want to know if I can go back and get some money for playing video games, all them years, Nintendo and Atari. So I want to know if I can go back and sue them companies. But anyway, um, I just want to know. I want to see what the patent looks like for these platforms because I think it comes down to the patented way these platforms are set up, um, and that could just be physical hardware on how it operates. Now, in terms of the software of what is dictated to the screen and how it's set up, it can be manipulative. You know, terms and conditions. Again, I go back to the small print. If you're not reading those things, you are to none the lesser understanding of what you are engaging in. You just think it's entertainment. Entertainment can become addictive. Gambling can become addictive. Drinking, smoking, all these things that people indulge in can become addictive. So anytime you have these things that are in the public, there's always rules and regulations. Now, each time when you have certain companies, certain presidents, they are bending the rules, making the rules a little bit softer. So you're able to operate at a certain level in certain areas, because you know that if you're able to do that, then you're going to be able to make a lot of money, a lot more money versus when you get the fine, it's not even going to feel like anything. So that's why you have car manufacturers, you have food manufacturers, any type of manufacturers that makes a product and puts it out there, they're going to always do things to where they can gain an upper hand, because once they make the money and then they get caught or get in trouble, the fine is not going to be enough to where it even hurts them. So whatever money that they were had to pay out or give away, that's nothing. That doesn't even scratch the surface. What about everyone else out here that's on the platform using it? We need to get paid too.
Right.
You
Hey, man,
know?
I was gonna say
Like
we
you
need to
said,
find out.
we addicted too,
Right, we need to find out how to get people addicted to watching our show. We need to do.
Man, what we say, 2,000 hours? We gotta put in 2,000 hours or something like that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but as you just look at just ways that you engage in the platform, likes, comments, shares, um, Facebook, I'm kind of going through that platform in terms of what content creation is. They just came out with a new program about content creation so they can keep people on the platform longer, and I can see it every day. Everybody's pushing, um, engagement, they call it, but it's not really engagement. It's not community, you know, it's not real. Everything is fake and fictitious because people are just doing it just to get, some money from Facebook, So if you sign up for that, then yeah, it's okay. But nonetheless, if people are not thinking about it, then yeah, I'm vulnerable. I didn't know. My daughter, we didn't know. We didn't read the terms and conditions. They didn't say that. We did read them. And there's always a loophole that, lawyers can find that they can sue you on. So it just depends.
Yeah, I think not thinking about it, I there are some instances where I start scrolling and I go down a rabbit hole, right?
Dead man
Oh
scrolling.
man. Yeah. Yeah, doom scrolling as they call it. And I definitely think there's a plan, like you said, there's a plan in it. Um, because yeah, to you bring up valid points. They want you to stay using the platform. So they set it up that way. Uh, there's a lot of companies out there, again to your point, who want people, maybe they don't use addictive, but they want people to continue buying their services, their goods and things like that, like sugar. Hey, sugar is addictive like crazy. And so yeah, and this is another like instance where it shows that they don't really have our interests, you know, like they just want to make money. And who they are, we get to find out who they are because we don't fully know. We could assume who some of those people are, but there's a lot of these big companies out there who are umbrellas to other companies who have other companies under them and things like that. So and a lot of times it leads back to the same person or the same group of people. And so anyway, this is interesting, man. So do you think that they have the right to sue Cuzzo, or do you think that they just need to take responsibility for what they did?
Well, you
Since
always
since we know that it's a plan to, have people to stay on the platform?
Well, I think there's two levels here. Um, there's merit based, and then there's also accountability, as we said. You know, merit based is yeah, you knew, your product was addictive. So why would you, allow certain age ranges to use your product per se? Accountability is, once I seen a certain uh, habit forming or a certain behavior forming, I should step in and redirect that or change that. It's just like my 7-year old. I know when it's time to cut his tablet time off. I can tell. you know? And he used to get really upset before, but now he doesn't get as upset because we've been through that process, you know, enough times to where he knows, like, okay, yeah, it's time to, you know,
Shut
give
it
it
down.
up for a while. It's time to shut it down. Yeah. So if you were to have more of that, again, we say accountability, you know, and I'm pretty sure there are some other words we could use, but to me, accountability is one of the words that's most important to use because, it makes you personally think about your part in the situation. So I think if we have more of that, those things happening, then we won't have a lot of people suing individuals because then you just go back to me controlling, my ways of life, my lifestyle, you know. Oh, what's in that? Oh yeah, I'm not eating that. I'm gonna go ahead and make that at my home. Or what is that? What's on that? Okay, yeah, we shutting that down because I'm not gonna allow them to see that because I understand this. You know, even the guy that came up with the iPhone and the iPad, Steve Jobs, he told you, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna let my kids use iPads because he knows what
Mhm.
they are. He knows they're addictive.
It's a fact.
Yeah. 9 times out of 10, anybody that's selling something, is pushing something, if they're not allowing their child to use it, they're not allowing their family to use it, you shouldn't be using it either.
That's a fact.
So I don't see anybody, from Meta, or his family, if he has kids, I don't know, on their scroll. They might be, I don't know, but you just have to think about those terms, you
Do
know.
you, do you think? Well, they say that she suffered from like body dysphoria and some other things, right?
Yeah.
Anxiety, and we know how social media could be, right? We know how people could post all these different things on there. As soon as sometimes you open it, you got to be careful because that photo with with the cakes out, pops up on your feed, and it's like, you know what? Let me clear my feed. Or something. What's going on? But do you think Meta can control that because these people, a lot of these people don't even live the lifestyle that they portray. But then you have people that look at the social media and they feel like or they think, oh, I should look like this or why don't I look like this? You know, um, and that's where like I think the depression and you know mental stress could come. Oh, this person is making millions and I'm broke. You know, do you think Meta should take responsibility for that?
No. Again, it comes back to accountability. Because I can read the newspaper and see people making money. I can be depressed after that, but then I'm gonna go sue the newspaper. No, you just have to,
Let's do it now.
yeah. I mean, you just have to develop a level of resiliency when it comes to being affected by what other people are doing or what's going on in other people's houses and homes or spaces. Because, you know, if you're going to be attracted by a certain energy, then it's going to find you regardless, whether it's social media, whether it's the newspaper, whether it's TV, because you're seeking that out. Now, I'm not going to be say, oh, yeah, I want to do this. I want to do that, but some energies and some ways of things happening are just drawn to certain people. Like they'll say something like, man, why does this always happen to me? Or, oh, I'm always having the worst luck. Yeah, you're speaking that to existence. You are your own best author and director, in certain situations. So if you are subconsciously consuming something, then yeah, it's very easily to manipulate you because you're not actively thinking about what you're on here for and what you're looking at. Like you said, you just get on there and doom scroll and you go down a rabbit hole. I've done that before, yeah. But I know I'm not on there just looking at, cakes bouncing. That's not what I'm on here for. Uh, I'm more attracted to, information and knowledge and, finding the truth. And of course, some pop culture things because we do this podcast. So I'm always looking for that. Sports.
Hey man, I ain't
Uh,
got no money to get sued by, so don't try to sue me, man, for your algorithm.
Listen,
Yeah,
man, I clear that thing out as much as I can. So
yeah,
yeah, so anytime you interact with a platform, it's always going to save that and it's going to send that more to you because when I go on Instagram and you go to the search, it's like, oh, it's like, why is all this in here?
right,
But when I go down my feed, I don't see any of that, or I don't see a lot of it, but they just have that sitting in your algorithm. So there's ways that you can clear certain things out, you
right,
know. And if you take the time just to go through each platform, you can see and go through the settings to see how to do that and kind of reset it to default settings.
100%.